This is the Selection Sunday show of the 2006 season. Coach Otis Mayfield and the Portland Pilots are 25-5 regular season conference champions for the first time in program history, and conference tournament champions for the second time in program history, as we take down the host and the heavily favored Gonzaga Bulldogs on their home court, winning at 75-58. What a fantastic performance we were able to put there all tournament, but especially there in the final. Their star player was visibly frustrated there. We were just having our way. It's a tough battle throughout, and then we started to pull away a bit and shut them down. 75-58. A classic run here through the greatest season in program history here for the Portland Pilots. We are NCAA tournament bound for just the third time in program history, first time since 1996. And it's a dream at the start of the season. Seemed like a long shot. No one was predicting we'd be able to do it, but we did that and then some. We're going to get a good seed here as well. Great season, great regular season, and great run through the tournament. Take a final look here at the West Coast Conference Tournament 2006 season. Portland Pilots 1 seed as the regular season champions. We met St. Mary's, who we played 2 tough games against earlier in the season. It was a tough game for a while, then we were able to pull out in front and able to get a 72-54 win to move on to the semifinals. Doing better than Portland did last year when they were just a one and done as a low seed in the tournament. Moving on, San Diego blowing out San Francisco in their first round game, 84-50. San Diego moving on with authority. Gonzaga winning, taking down Loyola Marymount in the quarterfinal, 66-58. Santa Clara 74-68. Keep their season going. They moved on to the semifinal against Gonzaga. Gonzaga getting the 11-point win to move on to the championship game once again. Gonzaga has absolutely dominated the West Coast Conference in recent memory, and they were certainly the favorites to win the regular season and the tournament championship once again this year. They advanced to the championship for the 9th straight season. The other semifinal was the game of the tournament, an absolute classic. San Diego looked like they were going to be able to pull away and get themselves to the championship game against Gonzaga. They had a 13-point lead in the second half, but we fought with everything we had inside ourselves, scratched and clawed our way back into it, tied it up at 70. Final seconds there, San Diego, after forcing a turnover, they were trying to hold on for the final shot of the game. Ended up shooting with just a little under 10 seconds left and missed. We got the rebound, ran it down court, passed to Randall, fade away off balance, jumper from short, able to get it at the buzzer, just released it in time. An absolutely thrilling moment there that we will always cherish. Portland Pilots getting the 72-70 victory to move on to the championship game. And we were able to win that one against Gonzaga, another absolutely classic game that we will always cherish. It was an absolute battle back and forth, and we were able to take the lead and just extending it, really frustrating Gonzaga on their home court, leaving no doubt, earning that championship, and going into the NCAA tournament with a lot of momentum. And now we will find out where we will be placed. Excited to see the Selection Sunday show here. What an exciting year, what an exciting time for campus of Portland University and for the whole city of Portland. The city has really rallied around this team. Everyone's become major Pilot fans here in 2006. So here we go. Very excited to see the show now here. Selection Sunday show. Let's watch.
Every year in this country, the tournament adds life to spring. But it's not until the brackets are filled that March Madness springs to life. The map of the madness, the only moments away from bringing the tournament to life. Good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Gumbel. Welcome to the NCAA Championship Basketball Selection Show. I'm joined here at the anchor desk by my partner, Clark Kellogg. All right, get your pencils and your brackets ready. We're ready to bring you the exclusive live announcement of the seedings and the pairings for this tournament. First, some background details. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. There are 34 at-large bids. An opening round game will be on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. Before we get to the unveiling of this year's brackets, let's take a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. We have a couple of changes in the rankings this week. One team made a huge move in the poll. The Texas Longhorns jumped all the way from the number 20 spot to number 14. They'll certainly be trying to keep that momentum going into the tournament. Also, a new team has made the jump into the top 25. The Ohio State Buckeyes return to the poll as the number 23 team. And there you have it, the final top 25 poll of the season. Now, let's take a look at some of the teams that find themselves on the bubble, hoping to hear those magical words, "You're invited." Here are 10 teams firmly on the bubble, with their fate squarely in the hands of the selection committee. Clark, any teams that jump out at you here on this list?
The Akron Zips are a pretty strong team out of a lower-profile conference, but not winning their conference tournament means they have to sit around and wait for an at-large bid like these 9 other teams.
Point well taken, but they're not the only team sweating it out right now.
The Clemson Tigers have the advantage of playing in a major conference, and no doubt that will increase their chances of getting the nod.
Well, they won't have to wait much longer. In just minutes, the whole country will know who's in and who's out. With that, let's get right to it and unveil this year's number 1 seeds in the NCAA tournament. The Maryland Terrapins are the top overall seed who will play in the Washington, D.C. regional. They come into the tournament on a major roll. They've been at the top of the media poll for the past 5 weeks. We'll soon find out if they can carry that momentum over into March Madness. On to the second number 1 seed who will play in the Atlanta Regional. The Alabama Crimson Tide are trying to win their first ever NCAA championship. The Duke Blue Devils are the third number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Minneapolis Regional. They're obviously no stranger to postseason play, with the experience of last year's NCAA tournament appearance still fresh in the minds of the veteran players. And finally, our fourth and last number 1 seed will play in the Oakland Regional. The Georgetown Hoyas are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the 5th time in the history of their program. That's one happy group. Getting a top seed is definitely worth celebrating. That's just what they're going to do. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the Washington, D.C. Regional will play the winner of the Atlanta Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Minneapolis Regional will play the winner of the Oakland Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 1st. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April the 3rd. We now know who the number 1 seeds are. What do you think?
Well, I think we're looking at the 4 best teams in the country without question. Good choices by the selection committee from my perspective.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. We look first at the Washington, D.C. Regional. The Maryland Terrapins are the top seed, finishing at 27-4. Winners of the ACC Conference regular season and tournament title. They'll take on the winner of the opening round game, the American Eagles, with 12 wins, take on Mississippi Valley State's Delta Devils out of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And now, the number 8 seed, the Vanderbilt Commodores, come into the tournament after finishing 7th in their conference during the regular season and were quarterfinalists in their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Memphis Tigers, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-11. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons enter the field as the number 4 seed. Coming out of the ACC, this will be their 20th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Sacramento State Hornets. Finished the season with 18 wins. They're the tournament champions of the Big Sky Conference. The Villanova Wildcats come in as the number 5 seed, and they will take on the 12th seed out of the Southern Conference. The Wofford Terriers are their conference tournament winners and will try to carry that momentum over when they play their first NCAA tournament game later this week. Next up is the number 2 seed. The Michigan Wolverines are the regular season champions of the Big Ten. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the South Alabama Jaguars, with 16 wins. This is their 6th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Our number 7 seed is out of the ACC. The North Carolina Tar Heels were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Oregon Ducks, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 19-13. And now the number 3 seed, the Louisville Cardinals, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. What a scene as they finally get to see their name in the brackets. It'll be a fun night for these folks. The Titans of Cal State Fullerton come in to face them at number 14 with 16 wins and a Big West Conference tournament championship behind them. The Oklahoma State Cowboys are in as the number 6 seed. It is their 8th straight appearance in the NCAA tournament. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Miami Hurricanes, come in as an at-large bid out of the ACC. First thing that comes to mind when I look at this bracket is that if the top 2 seeds advance to the Elite 8, we could have an absolute whale of a regional final. That could be the game of the tournament right there. Is there any one team that stands out to you there?
The Maryland Terrapins do the one thing that all great teams absolutely must do, and that's play tremendous team defense. These guys have been shutting down opponents all year with a combination of speed, intelligence, and sheer determination. There have been NCAA championship teams of all shapes and sizes, but all of them played good, strong defense.
Next up, we'll take a look at the Atlanta Regional. The Alabama Crimson Tide are the top seed, finishing at 29-4. Winners of the SEC Conference Tournament. They'll take on the New Mexico State Aggies, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their 16th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. And now, the number 8 seed, the Illinois Fighting Illini, come into the tournament as the 4th place team in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. And there are high fives all around back on campus where the celebration has already begun. The USC Trojans come in to face them at number 9 with 20 wins and the opportunity to make a name for themselves on college basketball's biggest stage. The Gonzaga Bulldogs come in as the number 4 seed. This will be their 8th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. And they'll take on the 13th seed out of the Atlantic Sun Conference. The Florida Atlantic Owls are their conference regular season and tournament winners. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame enter the field as the number 5 seed, coming out of the Big East. This is their 27th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Harvard Crimson, finished the season with 18 wins. They're the regular season champions of the Ivy League. Our number 2 seed is out of the Pac-10. The Arizona Wildcats come into the NCAA tournament as winners of their regular season and conference tournament championships. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Delaware State Hornets, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 16-15. Next up is the number 7 seed, the Cincinnati Bearcats. Have established themselves as one of the best teams out of the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Murray State Racers, with 23 wins. This is their 12th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. The South Carolina Gamecocks are in as the number 3 seed. They return to the NCAA tournament after a 1-year hiatus. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed. The Eastern Kentucky Colonels come in as tournament champions of the Ohio Valley Conference. And now the number 6 seed, the Hofstra Pride, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and winners of their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Charlotte 49ers, who finished second in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-11. Well, I think there's the potential for some very interesting matchups down the road in this bracket. There are some strong teams in there, no doubt about that, and we could wind up with some games that look more like Final Four matchups than regional games. Anything special that jumps out at you in that bracket?
The USC Trojans are one of those teams that's hard to put a finger on. They've got a terrific squad, but they depend on a lot of young players, and that lack of experience can be a big factor. Sometimes young guys play a lot looser than the veterans, but it's always a tough call. They really could go either way on you.
Our third regional breakdown of the day. Let's take a look at the Minneapolis Regional. The Duke Blue Devils are the top seed, finishing at 24-9. Third place out of the ACC. They'll take on the Vermont Catamounts, the number 16 ranked team. This is their third appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. Our number 8 seed is out of the Pac-10. The California Golden Bears were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Arkansas Razorbacks, who finished second in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-11. The Kentucky Wildcats enter the field as the number 4 seed. Coming out of the SEC, it's yet another appearance in the brackets for a school that's no stranger to the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed. The Terriers of St. Francis finished the season with 20 wins. They're the regular season and tournament champions of the Northeast Conference.
Let's go.
The Portland Pilots are in as the number 5 seed. They return to the NCAA tournament for the first time in 10 years. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed. The Manhattan Jaspers come in as regular season and conference champions of the Metro Atlantic Conference. And now the number 2 seed, the Boston College Eagles, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. As you can see, the celebration is on. A great moment for this team and their fans. The Lamar Cardinals come in to face them at number 15 with 17 wins and a Southland Conference tournament championship behind them. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Syracuse Orange have established themselves as one of the best teams out of the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Kansas Jayhawks, with 17 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. And now the number 3 seed, the Indiana Hoosiers, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the Flames of Illinois Chicago, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 15-13. The Ohio State Buckeyes come in as the number 6 seed. This marks their 22nd appearance all-time in the NCAA tournament. And they take on the 11th seed out of the Big 12. The Iowa State Cyclones are rewarded for their great play this season with an at-large berth in the tournament. Right away, it looks to me like this bracket could have some of the teams you look at as possible sleepers. It's always tough to pin down who's going to pull the upsets, but I'll go out on a limb and say there are going to be lower seeds that make some noise here. Is there any one team that stands out to you there?
The Boston College Eagles have more to prove than any other team in this tournament. They haven't had a lot of experience in the tournament recently, so it's difficult to say exactly how they'll handle it. They've shown they're capable of playing with the best teams in the nation during the regular season. Now they need to show they belong with those teams come tournament time.
The last but definitely not the least regional on the list, we'll take a look at the Oakland Regional. The Georgetown Hoyas are the top seed, finishing at 23-6, winners of the Big East Conference regular season. They'll take on the Oakland Grizzlies, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in school history. Next up is the number 8 seed. The Pittsburgh Panthers have established themselves as one of the best teams out of the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Texas Tech Red Raiders, with 18 wins. This marks their 13th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. And now the number 4 seed, the Providence Friars, come into the tournament 5th in their conference during the regular season and finish 2nd in their conference tournament. And there are high fives all around back on campus where the celebration has already begun. The Southern Illinois Salukis come in to face them at number 13 with 17 wins and a Missouri Valley Conference tournament championship behind them. The Nevada Wolfpack come in as the number 5 seed. They earned their second trip in a row to the NCAA tournament. And they will take on the 12th seed out of the Mountain West Conference. The UNLV Runnin' Rebels are their conference tournament winners. Now they'll try to win another tournament, only this one is a field of 64. The Connecticut Huskies enter the field as the number 2 seed, coming out of the Big East. This will be their 26th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed. The Coastal Carolina Chanticleers finished the season with 16 wins. They're the tournament champions of the Big South Conference. And now the number 7 seed, the Aggies of Texas A&M, come into the tournament on the strength of a third-place finish in their conference regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Washington Huskies, who were second in their conference, finishing at 19-10. The Texas Longhorns are in as the number 3 seed. They earn their 7th consecutive trip to the NCAA tournament. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed. The Northern Illinois Huskies come in as tournament champions of the MAC. Our number 6 seed is out of the SEC. The LSU Tigers were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the George Washington Colonial, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-10. It certainly looks to me that this bracket is going to be the strongest of the 4. They have several teams I think are capable of not only getting to the Final 4, but of winning it all. And even some of the lower seeds here have the potential to advance. This is a really deep, really difficult bracket. Well, Clark, what's your impression of the teams in the final bracket?
The Texas Longhorns are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other teams in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
With all the speculation over and the bracket picture finally in focus, let's get your thoughts on our top 16 seeds.
Well, I have to admit, for once, these seeds look pretty good to me. I think the selection committee really got it right this time. The Louisville Cardinals are the most dangerous 3 seed in the tournament, in my opinion. They're a team that could be a very tough matchup for whomever they play. The most shocking thing about the top 16 is the lack of any representatives out of the Atlantic 10. Obviously, the committee did not show a lot of respect to that conference, and maybe they don't deserve any.
Now, let's look at the breakdown by conference. The Big East gets 9 teams. The ACC with 6. 6 out of the SEC. The Big 12 gets 6 teams. The Pac-10 with 5. 4 out of the Big 10.
Boy, what a real down year for the mid-majors. None of those conferences stands out. We're used to seeing quite a few of those teams, but not this year.
And let's not forget the teams out of the Ohio Valley Conference. Those squads had a great year. They put fear in the big boys more than once this season, and one of those teams could be a sleeper pick in this tournament.
I can't believe there's only one team out of the Mountain West Conference. What a disappointing year for that conference. The balance of power is cyclical. It shifts amongst the major conferences, and they better hope it's going to swing back in their favor soon.
We talked about the bubble teams earlier. Now let's check back on them and see who got their ticket punched. What do you think of the list now, Clark?
The Charlotte 49ers reap the benefits of playing in a major conference without question. Other teams put up more wins and had flashier numbers, but I'm sure the nightly battles these guys went through put them over the top.
Absolutely, and I know we have a few more teams on the list that are celebrating.
The Iowa State Cyclone can finally exhale. I don't think there was a lot of doubt that they'd make it, but we've seen good teams get left out before, and you just know this was a nerve-wracking day for this squad. Well, we know there are a few teams on the other side of the equation that weren't too thrilled to get the bad news today. The Clemson Tigers really didn't do themselves any favors with their dismal finish to the season. Unless you've had just an unbelievable start to the year, you're usually not going to overcome that kind of struggle at the end of the season.
Not a happy day on that campus, that's for sure, but they'll have some company when it comes to watching the tournament on television this year.
The Akron Zips have got to rethink their scheduling strategy if they want to avoid getting passed over in the future. They didn't really play many tough games, and that looks really bad in March when compared to other teams that have played a strong schedule.
Well, partner, I think we're ready to start the real show. What do you say?
Well, Greg, that sounds good to me. I think it's going to be an incredible tournament. I can't wait until we actually throw the ball up in the air and get these games started.
So for my partner Clark Kellogg and the rest of us here in the studio, I'm Greg Gumbel signing off. Now, let the madness begin.
Let's go. We are the 5 seed, and we're going to be taking on Manhattan. Dream come true here for everyone involved. Portland Pilots going to their 3rd ever NCAA tournament. First in 10 years, first since 1996. And fantastic season, regular season champs. First time school history, and then getting the conference tournament championship. The 2nd time in school history. Everyone on campus going nuts, everyone in the city fired up about it here. Here we go, special year no matter what happens. We're going to give everything we got in the tournament. What a year, let's fly. Let's go Pilots.